I'm going to share a crazy download with you today. So, if you're coming across this at this time, then this is meant for you to hear. And this is a download about what is happening with humanity, particularly what is happening in the United States right now. In this vision, I communicated with our president, Trump's higher self, and I got some insights from his soul about what is happening. I also got some insights about why some of the things are happening in the energy and why some of the decisions are being made, particularly about taking rights away from women. So stay tuned, ground yourself for this one because I'm going to tell you exactly what I saw in this vision. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I am your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. Once in a while, I get really crazy insights about things that are happening for humanity. And the reason that these come to me at particular times is because I am often seeking growth for myself. I'm often seeking how to stay in alignment for myself. And as a intuitive healer and a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium, my goal is to stay aligned with my own higher self so that I can be the person here on earth that I came to be. But in order to be that person, sometimes I want to know what is it that I'm doing here on earth and why are the things happening the way they're happening? And I think it's okay to ask questions once in a while, but it's also okay to just trust that things are always working out for the highest good, even when it doesn't look like it. That being said, I work with a team who call themselves the Wisdom Keepers. And the Wisdom Keepers came into my experience as a human a couple years ago. And the reason that I started to channel and work with the Wisdom Keepers was because I had a spirit guide that came prior to the Wisdom Keepers that began to acclimate me and help me realign my energy so that I can communicate with these beings that call themselves the Wisdom Keepers. So last night, as I was meditating, I began to travel out of my body, which I've done a couple times. You may have seen some of my other videos where I talk about my out of body experiences. And as I traveled out of my body in my spirit self, I went to go visit the Wisdom Keepers. The Wisdom Keepers are a 12th dimensional spirit team, and they are 12 beings that form a council. This council of beings, and the reason they call themselves the Wisdom Keepers is because they actually hold wisdom within their energy of the universe, particularly what is happening on Earth and how what is happening on Earth plays a part within the entire system of all things within the universe. And so when they give me these insights and downloads, these often are related to the human experience. They will also give me some clues and insights about what's happening in the other dimensions or other beings throughout the universe, but they mostly know that my job here being a human at this time is to bring clarity and understanding to the human race about what is actually happening and why we're here at this time and the vibrational shift that we're going through into a higher consciousness and ushering in a new earth energy. So as I'm out of my body having this experience with the Wisdom Keepers, I began to see some of them. And this is the first time I've had an experience where I actually saw the way they projected themselves to me in a physical form. I did see that they were made up of some of the master teachers. Yahweh was a part of them. I did see some Octarians from Octaria. So extraterrestrials. These are blue beings. They're beautiful, very, very tall, blue, radiant, sparkling beings. I saw some other goddesses and gods. I saw my own guide, Annabelle, was with them. I also saw some other like divine feminine energies. I didn't see every single one of them, but I got the vision of all of them as very powerful beings of light. And I did see the light of all 12 of them. As I was watching and looking at the light of all 12 of these beings, I also began to look kind of around them and past them. And I saw some of the higher self spirits of people I know in this lifetime. That might be my friends or my family. And I started to see the light workers of those who are volunteering on the earth at this time. And there was a connection with this wisdom for the light workers and healers and those who are volunteered to come to the earth to usher in and support those humans for the ascension and releasing the old way of doing things or the old patterns that have been formed in the energy and creating new patterns in the energy. As I'm in this place visiting the higher selves of many of these humans on earth, I suddenly am prompted to go and visit Mr. Trump's higher self, so our president. And as I go to visit Trump's higher self, I see him in his true form, not his human self, not his ego self, not the self that we here on earth are seeing right now, but the part of him that is also connected to the divine source of love, which is hard to see that when you're looking at his human elements, his human side. And I don't know why Spirit had me go and visit with his higher self, other than they wanted to give me some insight about what was happening on earth right now and kind of the energetic, I guess we would call, battle that the light workers are in. So when I talk about battle or warfare or fighting against something, the way that I believe this is not a fight, but a transformation. Because we cannot eliminate something that's already created in the energy. We can only transform it into something else. And so, what we're doing is taking what has been and recreating it for something better and good. So, we're replacing and upgrading energy that has been a low vibration or an egotistic vibration and helping it to shift into a higher vibration. And that was what light workers are here to do at this time. So as I'm speaking to Trump's higher self, I start asking him, I ask him, what is it that you're doing on earth right now? Like, why are you causing this chaos and all these problems for humans, for the entire earth, really, and particularly for United States? And his higher self came back to me and said to me, this is an energy that's been cycling for a long time. I am playing the role of the shadow for the human collective. And I am taking on the role of the form in which you do not like so that you could bring contrast to it to shift it into a different frequency. Because if you didn't see the energy that was cycling clearly on earth right now, you wouldn't know what to work with or how to change that energy. So in his highest self, he has an awareness that he chose to come and play this role for humanity to create the contrast for us to begin to shift into a higher consciousness. And the reason that he's playing this role is because there's an understanding that humanity does not change until they get uncomfortable, until they're forced to do something. Many times, we look at this in our human experience in all elements. Like it could be related to your health, or it could be related to relationship. It could be related to anything. We often don't start trying to work on something until we are kind of forced our back up against the wall and we have to do it. And that is what the energy is that he's creating for us, where we have to start standing up and speaking up and shining the light that we are into the world around us. Now, I said to him, but here's the problem. As I'm communicating with his higher self, I said, there are some people that are comfortable with what you're doing. And he explained to me that the way he's going about it is going to cause even some of them to be uncomfortable. And they are going to start questioning, and they are going to start waking up to their higher conscious mind because of that uncomfortable feeling. And then I came back and I said, okay, so I get that for the people that are yet to awaken, for the people that are yet to change, the people that need to be forced into seeing their shadow. What about us that are seeing the shadow? What about us that are enlightened? What about us that are awakened and we can see the truth? Because it's really frustrating and uncomfortable for us. And he came back to me and he said, that's why you're there. That's why you volunteered to be a human right now, because you wanted to be a light in the uncomfortable feeling in order to provide a space for things to shift. Because in order for the higher frequency to move into the earth, someone has to carry the higher frequency in order for those who are going to be awakening or need to move into that light to move into it. So in many ways, we're kind of like coming with that energetics of the higher frequency within our soul already. And then we come into our human awakening where we start to vibrate that, which opens up the energy around us to start to shift the consciousness of other humans. And this is really oftentimes kind of very unconscious that we're doing. We might even not even know that we're changing the frequency around us by working on ourselves. And so he explained to me, this higher self of Trump explained to me that we had purposely wanted to come and be and hold this vibration of the higher frequency to usher in the 5D. As he's explaining to this, my vision starts to shift and I start to travel in a different way. And I suddenly found myself in Atlantis. So this is a very ancient city that is believed to be under the water, I believe in the Atlantic Ocean. And Atlantis was a very like advanced civilization. And it's really interesting to, if you don't know much about the world right now, in the United States compared to some of the other countries around the world, there are some countries that are way more advanced than the United States. Like if you look at China or Singapore or Japan, or there's a lot of countries that are way more advanced than the United States. And the United States has not been aware of that until recently as a collective, because it had been hidden from us by the powers that be. Now things are shifting in the consciousness, and so things are waking up. So if you've been on TikTok, you know there's been all kinds of things happening over there where people started to move over to a Chinese app and they started realizing what it's really like on the other side of the world when we haven't really been taught that. And so these cultures are much more advanced than we are here in the United States. And so as they're showing me this vision of Atlantis, they show me this very, very advanced city and this culture, and they're showing me the technology. They're showing me that they had like basically flying spaceships. They showed me that they had beautiful structural buildings. Like this place was just glowing and magnificent and high consciousness and just like an amazing place. And then they started to show me the rest of the world and how the rest of the world was not holding that high of a consciousness. It's much like what we're kind of discovering now with the United States and many of the other countries, how you're kind of oblivious to what it is if you haven't experienced it. And so what they began to explain to me was that the hope was to bring a higher consciousness into Atlantis, and that higher consciousness move throughout the earth and awaken the collective and help the collective raise in their vibration. But what ended up happening was this area of the world could not contain and shift the entire consciousness of humanity by being in that same place. And they almost started to self destruct. They almost started to allow some of the outside world or the egos and the battles to kind of collapse their system, which what we see is happening here in the United States, where the system is collapsing. The way things have been built are being exposed so they can collapse and then rebuilt. And the reason that I believe they showed me Atlantis was because they explained to me that what happened in that time and the reason that it failed in that time was because they didn't fully comprehend in their experience of being a physical being that they needed to spread their light out throughout the world instead of just all be in one area at once. And if you know anything about energy and anything about conscious thinking and how we all kind of gather around the same type of people that we think like and we believe like, you can look at towns or cities or different cultures around the world or friend groups or schools or like there anything that has a bunch of people gathered together, they're going to have a collective way of being. They're going to have a collective energy. You can see this from state to state in the United States. You can travel from one state to another and see they talk different, they act different, they view things differently. Like some could be similar but very different in their approach or their values. And that's because when you spend a significant time around an area or around a whole bunch of people, you kind of just naturally take on the thinking and the ideas and the programming of that area because that is the prominent energy. And then when you awaken, you start to notice that and you start to shift out of that, which makes it very uncomfortable for those who have awakened to be in some of these areas. But there's a reason for that, because what they explained to me was when Atlantis collapsed and it went under, those light workers that were volunteering at that time to bring a higher consciousness went back into the spirit and realized we cannot change the entire collective energy by being in one place together. We've got to spread ourselves out throughout the entire world and shine our light into other places so that the entire consciousness of humanity can wake up in not just one area. So it's almost like those of us that were in Atlantis, that we, whether you know it or not, if you were there or not, we learned from the experience that we don't all want to come back to Earth in the same exact location, because we could enhance the location in that place, that consciousness energy, but it's not going to impact the whole entire collective the way it would if we just spread ourselves out throughout the entire world. Which is why many of us are in different places and separated, and we often feel alone because of that. So they're showing me this and explaining that this is the volunteers that came to awaken the collective consciousness. So eventually, in the far future, Atlantis can re-rise. We can rebuild. We can bring back unity and peace to humanity and recreate the new Earth. And so as we're moving through this energy and we're working on this, and I'm seeing this vision and are explaining these to us or to me, I then am shifted in my mind to understanding some of the decisions that they're making for humans, particularly United States right now, but I know that this happens in other parts of the world as well. But they took me specifically to the women's rights and why they're so focused on taking rights away from women right now. And the first thing they explained to me was that the light workers and the healers and the star seeds, many of us, including myself, chose to come to Earth and not have children. And the reason that we chose to come back to Earth to be a volunteer to raise the consciousness of humanity and not have children was so that we could stop the karmic cycles and the lineages of karma that have been cycling. Because in order to stop something, you have to end it. So for myself, they explained to me the reason that, and this is something I've known for several years, but it made more sense to me when they explained this to me last night. They explained to me the reason that you never got married or you never had children, and I cannot have children now, is because you did not come to play that role for humanity. You didn't come to procreate. You didn't come to continue humanity. You came to end cycles and karmic energy. And if you were to have children, you would be creating more of that, and you would be continuing the cycle of bringing in more of that same karmic energy that you're trying to release. So there has to be an ending to something for a new beginning to happen. So if you are one of these humans or light workers or healers or volunteers that came to Earth, particularly without the desire to have children or be in a relationship, you can be in a relationship as well. But if you did not have children, you are likely here for the purpose of ending a karmic cycle for your lineage and for the lineage of humanity. Now, I asked them also about what about the people that do have children in this time? And they said those people are meant to continue the lineage of humanity. However, because they are awakened, they're here to teach the children how to remain connected to their higher self and remain awakened as we continue to shift into a higher frequency and eventually new earth. So somebody has to keep creating new, but teaching it in a new way. And that's why a lot of us are having more conscious parenting with our children. We're paying more attention to how we treat them. We're trying to allow them to stay in connection with their higher self, their intuition. We believe them when they start talking about past lives. We believe them when they talk about communicating with spirits or aliens or whatever that might be. We are here to allow the children to stay connected to their true self. So that is the role of the parents at this time, having children, so that they can hold that frequency as humanity moves forward. However, there's been a pause in many ways of creating more humans on Earth for a purpose. And that purpose is to stop karmic cycles. And so if you are here and you feel that is your calling, then that is likely what you're doing without even realizing it, is you're stopping karmic cycles, and that's through healing yourself as well. So as they're explaining this to me, they said to me, that is why they're so focused on human women rights, because in many ways, the old energy has been created through this by continuing to reproduce more and more and more humans and passing on that lineage of karma over and over and over, and adding in religion to it, and adding in control systems to it, and adding in ways to manipulate the human mind, allowed those in power to be able to control humans. Now, they've explained to me this before, and I've hesitated to share some of these things, but they explained to me that the elite, the wealthy, the shadow government, the government, they're very aware of the conscious mind of humanity. They're aware of the awakening. They're aware of manifestation. They're aware of the power of the mind. And that is why they have kept documents from humanity. They've kept the truth from us, that we are that powerful, that we can create something new with our mind, that we can heal ourselves with our energy, that we can do these things. Because if we're giving our power to something outside of ourselves, or we're looking to something outside of ourselves, then we rely on that, which gives the other thing power over us. So what we're doing is we're bringing our power back to the to the people. We're taking the power out of the hands of those who have been working out of the ego mind and moving into a higher conscious mind, so that the energy comes back to the people, and the people can start ushering in peace and love and harmony on earth. But this is going to take time, because we're here doing multiple roles. Many of us are here doing the karmic energy releasing. Many of us are here to stand up and to speak truth. Many of us are here to raise the children that are going to be the conscious awakened humans in the future. Many of us are here to be the light in our jobs, or to be carry the consciousness for the community that you're in, or whatever that might be. We all are playing a different role right now for humanity. And the powers that be know that this is happening. So they're pulling in anything they can at this time and trying to put rules and regulations and take rights away and force humans to do a certain thing, because they also understand that we have moved in and we are shifting into the age of Aquarius, which is the time of the feminine. We are moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the divine feminine energy and divine feminine leadership and divine feminine um, kind of frequency. And when I say that divine feminine, I don't mean that the masculine is going away. I mean that there's a balance that is coming back, where it's not just completely masculine and completely about what you do and how you do it. It's going to be a balance of nurture versus nature. And so we're working together in our energy field as a collective to raise the vibration and pull back in the divine feminine, because the power of the divine feminine that is held in the woman's body, particularly to recreate energy, to pass down energy, is powerful. And so what we have decided to do as spirits is to come to earth to stop that pattern, to have a pause in creating more humans and clearing out some things, rise the vibration of the earth, and then eventually we will recreate more humans. It's not that earth won't have humans or it won't continue to create, humanity won't continue to create more of itself. It's that it's going to be creating it in a new energy. But we have to stop what has been created first in order to move into the next air of humans element, vibration and frequency of new earth in 5D. So this is why this is all happening, and it's happening energetically as well as in the physical, that we can actually work with and experience and feel and sense. And so how do we battle this? How do we overcome these difficult times that we're in? It's by holding the frequency that you came to hold. It's by being able to hear from your higher self and your intuition, allowing that divine feminine part of you to guide and lead you, to work with both your masculine and feminine, to follow your heart's passion. If you feel like you're meant to be speaking up with love and compassion. I often think about Martin Luther King Jr. in his time and how he spoke up, but he spoke in love. Like, if you feel that calling to do that, then do that, but remain in the frequency of love when you do it. If you feel like you're meant to just hold the frequency of meditation at home by yourself and just with your family, then do that. What you do with your energy is what matters at this time. What you do with your thoughts is what matters at this time. And this is why many of us have been on a deep healing journey for many years now to work out our own shadows, so that we could hold the light during this very massive exposure of the collective shadow. We cannot get caught back up in that shadow because we're not meant to be a part of it. We're meant to transform it. And these things are all happening in attempts to hold on to the things happening, to hold on to the old energy, because that power is being stripped of these people that have had it and given back to the people. And it's going to be a difficult time for us to go through as humanity, because, as you know, healing and seeing your shadows and facing things is difficult in general, but it's exposing the things that we'd rather not see, we'd rather not feel, we'd rather not know. The suffering, the pain, it's brutal and it's horrible, and I hate it. And the only way we change that is being in our highest frequency and doing what our passion is calling us to, what our intuition is calling us to, and doing it in the high vibration of love. So, those are some visions that I got and some insights I got last night as I was meditating. And I am sure that I will continue to get more of these and I will share them with you. So, I would love if you would please like and subscribe to my channel. I am working on trying to get some of these messages out. I have been posting and posting and posting, and I believe that as a collective, we are here to work together to shift the vibration of the earth. And I would love if you would join me on that journey by subscribing and liking and helping to spread this message to those who are meant to hear it. And if you are looking for support individually or would like to join my Ascension membership, we meet a couple times a month, support each other in this collective time that we're in. I do a channeling once a month for them where they can come in, ask questions, and I also offer one-on-one individual support as well. So come check out my website. Come hang out with us. I'd love to have you. It's only $25 a month. And yeah, I hope that you are doing well. I send all the love to you from the universe, and I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. Namaste.